Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Billy Indiana. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my month in review for October 2021. In October 2021, I was able to play 56 gameplays, 20 different games, 13 of them new to me. And so if you'd like to hear more about the games that I played in October, stay tuned. So I'm going to be going through these games first in a sequence of least played to most played, but also dividing it into two categories. I'll first go through the group of games that we have played this month in October that we have owned and played prior as well. So let's start off with Fantasy Realms. Now, Fantasy Realms is by WizKids, and it's a fun little card playing game. We've played this quite a bit in the past, but just brought it out as a filler one time this month and really enjoyed it. So Fantasy Realms. Next up, we actually just played this today and played it twice. It's Halloween, actually, and Halloween Day. We played Horrified earlier. We played against 3 monsters and 4 monsters, my wife and I, at 2-player count. We really enjoy Horrified. It was on our 9x9 challenge this year, and today we played our 9th and 10th time for the year. Continue to enjoy it, and hopefully in the future can try out the American Monsters version of it as well. So Horrified by Ravensburger and Prospero Hall. Next up is Red Rising. Red Rising is a game that we've played quite a bit and continue to enjoy, a Stonemaier game. And this is one that's like Fantasy Realms, but a little bit more complicated in the sense that you've also got these different other pieces that you're moving around in the game and have different win conditions other than just win a certain number of games or in the discard section. So Red Rising continues to be one that we really enjoy and one that we played a couple of times in October. Next up is one that I don't have. I received a prototype copy of Pirate Party: Women of the High Seas by Marge Rosen and Seaport Games, and you can check out my video. I'll post a link here above. This was a card playing game, very rummy-like in its style of play, and we enjoyed several playthroughs of it. It was a successful Kickstarter as well, so hopefully you had a chance to check that out on Kickstarter, and that is Pirate Party. Next up is Land vs. Sea. Now this is actually a review copy that was sent to me by Good Games Publishing, and this is a tile laying game where one person plays the land tiles, or plays any tiles, but trying to make groups or clusters of land, and another player is trying to make cohesive structures of water. And you're scoring, but you can also play this 3-player, and you can also play it 4-player in teams of 2 versus 2. The 3-player is really interesting, where the 3rd player isn't trying to necessarily make bodies of land or bodies of water, but instead is capitalizing on other scoring mechanisms. So I have a couple of videos on this one. I'll put a link here to the review that I did for this one up above. Land vs. Sea, another one we played several times in October. Next up, Cartographers. Now, Cartographers is one of my favorite games, and I'm really looking forward to the Cartographers Heroes game Kickstarter that I backed that should be coming anytime. Played this several times, even joined the Cartographers Solo Challenge on Instagram. Really love this game. I never get tired of it. Love coloring it in with colored pencils, and played this a few times in October as well. And the last one that was returning to the table, coming off of the shelves, is Cascadia. We've just received this a couple months ago through Kickstarter and backing that, but I've been playing it for several months online, and now finally the last couple months with the actual board game as well. And this month, this was the most played game. I played this game 10 times this month, and this game is one that I just continue to love. The placement of the tiles, the combination of having to choose a tile and a token. You can check out my review for this one if you want to know more about how the game plays and what I like about it. Cascadia by Flat Out Games, a really great game. So those are the games that I have played before, that our family has played before, and returned to the table here in the month of October. Now on to the 13 new games that we played in October. And first up is another one that I don't have with me, but I received a prototype copy of Hamsters versus Hippos. And so that was one that we played. It's a cute little game, kind of for upper elementary age kids probably primarily. Adults could enjoy it as well, but it's a push your luck game where you're moving this hamster around on these tiles and trying not to get eaten by hippos. So we just played that a few times at the beginning of the month, but enjoyed that. A couple of the games that I don't have but that we played, one is Mansions of Madness, and I had never played this game prior to October, but being the spooky month, we pulled that out at one of the game nights at one of my friend's houses, and he taught us how to play Mansions of Madness. It was a lot of fun, really enjoyed that one. Another one that I played at game night here at a local meetup is AuZtralia by Martin Wallace. And AuZtralia is one where it's cooperative in a sense. You're all being attacked by these zombies and monsters, but you're also competing. And so it was a very interesting game to have that sort of sense of sometimes I need to do something to help the greater cause, but a lot of times I'm just doing something to help myself. AuZtralia was another fun one to get to the table. Again, not one that I own, but one that I played at our game nights. Another one that I played on a different game night, but with the same group, is 18 Chesapeake. And that was my first chance at an 18xx game. Really enjoyed it. It wasn't the type of game, at least after only one play, that I think I would go back to over and over again, but I did enjoy it. I would definitely be willing to play 18 Chesapeake again, and wouldn't mind trying a couple of 18xx games just to dip my toe a little bit deeper into that water. Next up is one that we do own, and that is Villainous. And recently picked this up on clearance at Target and just played this the other day for the first time with my wife. She played Ratigan and I played Scar. And it's an interesting, unique type of game where you are a villain, but you're playing hero cards that go with that villain on your opponent's board. And so they're playing heroes on my board for the whole Lion King story, and I'm playing heroes against Ratigan on her board in that game. I think it's Ratatouille. No, I forget the name of the movie. I haven't ever seen it actually. But it was fun to try Villainous. We played that one as one kind of in our spooky month of games, and got that to the table just once. Another one is Dune House Secrets. So my wife and I went to see the movie, really enjoyed the movie, and hadn't played any Dune games. We don't own Dune Imperium yet and haven't had a chance to play it, but I picked this up on pre-order from Portal Games, and this is really more of like a choose-your-own-adventure story, in my opinion, at least what we've experienced so far. We've only played the prologue so far, and there's 3 chapters we'll eventually go through. We enjoyed the story of it, but it felt a little less like a game and more like an activity, like a choose-your-own-adventure story. Art is beautiful. Some of the extra components for the pre-order are really nice. Great big map. So we did enjoy Dune House Secrets and looking forward to playing a few more chapters of that. Some other new games this month. One is another one that I do own but don't have with me. It's Rokumon. And Rokumon is a little chess-like, almost a tic-tac-toe crossed with chess game where you're playing a 2-player game in this feudal Japan setting, and you're trying to get 3 in a row or 3 in a stack, and you're moving with 6 different phases of play, and every phase changes up how the game plays. So a very unique game. I keep it at school so that I can play it at lunch with students, and so I don't have it here with me, but I'll show you a picture here. A very fun game, Rokumon by Exist Games. Next up is Oriflamme, another one that I played on a game night. We played it as a filler, played it a couple times when we were kind of close to the end of the night and didn't have time to play another bigger game. And Oriflamme reminded me a lot of Citadels, where you have a particular character with a specific ability, and you're sharing cards and trying to play them in just the right order. It had a really unique mechanism where you're putting the cards out and you put it on the far ends of a growing river, not a river, but a growing tableau. So that was really unique, and definitely enjoyed a couple games of Oriflamme. Next up, another new one that I do own, and that is Heroes of Tenefyr. And Heroes of Tenefyr is a deck building game. It's one that, let's see, this one's by Broken Mill Games. And this is a cooperative game. I've only played it solo so far, and I've only played it in quick mode so far, but I played it a few times in quick mode just to get used to it, get experience with how you go into the different dungeons and fight the different monsters. And playing in quick mode and playing solo, I've been able to win both times, but the second time was really close. I almost didn't pull it off. I'm excited to try this with my wife. She loves cooperative games, and this is a pretty simple deck builder to learn. Definitely enjoyed my experience with Heroes of Tenefyr. Another one new to the table this month is Rolling Realms by Stonemaier Games. And in a sense, it's not new because when Jamie Stegmaier was creating this game back in the beginning of the COVID pandemic isolation times, he was playing this online, and lately has been playing online quite a bit with the new version that's actually a published, produced version. But I remember playing online with the print and play version with him back when he was even developing it. And so in a sense, it's not new, but this was new in terms of this form. And he did send this to me as a review copy, and really enjoying playing this. Played it solo a couple times, and also played with my wife to teach her how to play Rolling Realms, and got that to the table several times. We'll be putting together a review for that one very soon. So enjoyed our plays of Rolling Realms. Next up, another new game to us, Medici, the dice game. Now, I've never played Medici, but I really enjoyed this little simple dice game. I can play a solo game in about 5 minutes. My wife and I can play around in 10 to 15 minutes. So if you just have a short window of time and you just want to roll some dice and see if you can pattern those numbers and colors together just right, I think I played this one at 5 times this month, and it was a little fun filler game that we enjoyed. We played it out in the park because it's just dice. So really nice, enjoyed that one, and I want to try the original game now. It's a Reiner Knizia game, and this one was put out by Grail Games. All right, and then the other new one that I had this month is actually a Kickstarter that arrived, and that is Maquis. And Maquis is by Side Room Games. Maquis is a solo game. You could, I suppose, play it cooperatively. I think I watched a video of Quackalope playing it cooperatively once, but I've just played it solo, played it several times. It's a pretty quick game, 20 to 30 minutes. And you're trying to move these resistance fighters around on this map while there's soldiers and police officers coming. You're trying not to get arrested. And I've only won this twice out of 5 times, and both times I barely won. And I've lost 3 times pretty handily every time I've lost. And one of the times that I did win actually was in kind of the beginner's mode, the easiest way you can play. That was one of my wins. The other one was kind of, I picked a couple of simpler settings, a couple simpler goals. Being a Kickstarter version, there's extra cards, extra goals. Really enjoyed this game, Maquis, and the plays that I had of it this month. And then the game that is new to me that I played the most this month is not one that I have because it's not available in the US yet, and I've only played it online, and that is Explorers, a Phil Walker Harding game. And I believe it's Ravensburger, if I'm not mistaken, but I've only played it online. And it's a little tricky. I'll put the link down below. But if you go to the online version, there is a tutorial, but the tutorial's in German. So I had to just read the rules. I found the English rules, and I'll put a link down to that page below as well. Read the English rules and then played through this version that's online and really kind of got addicted to it. I really do want to eventually pick up the actual board game version of this when it's available in the US. Explorers was a lot of fun for me. I played it 8 times in October. And so there you have it. Those are the games that we played this month, some that were new to us and some that weren't. And so now what are my picks of the month? Well, of the games that came back to the table, I would have to say that Cascadia, I just am still loving this game. It's so beautiful. It's puzzly. I played it. It's the game that I played the most this month. It's close though, because Cartographers is another one that I just really love. So, and both of those I would just be willing to play anytime. And so those are my top 2 games coming back to the table that weren't new to me. And then in terms of the top games that were new to me, Explorers, and one that I know that I want to get eventually as a actual board game version instead of just the online version, but just really enjoying that puzzle nature. And I tend to enjoy Phil Walker Harding games anyway. And then the other one that I actually have, Heroes of Tenefyr. Definitely enjoyed my solo plays of this. Really excited to try this with my wife Janelle and see if she enjoys it. I love deck builders, and I like that I can play it solo, but being cooperative, I think I can also get some of my other family members to join in with me. So those are my top games of the month of October. What were yours? What games did you enjoy in this spooky month of October? Tell me in the comments down below what your favorite games were, and if you had any new games that arrived to your table, what were your favorites? If you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you'd give it a thumbs up, and I would love it if you'd subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions about any of these games, you can leave a comment about that down below as well. As always, thanks for watching. This is Billy, Indiana, signing off.